Hello and welcome to Cupcake Addiction's Hunger Games cupcake tutorial, where I'll be showing you how to make this gorgeous and really easy Hunger Games cupcake. Absolutely so many requests from you guys for something Hunger Games, and I'm a massive fan of the series, so here's what I've made for you. Tools and equipment that we will be using today: I've got some sticky tape, I've got some scissors, a Ziploc bag, I've got some of our perfectly pipeable buttercream frosting. Now I've tinted some of that yellow and some orange. I've got my cupcake, I've got my optional Hunger Games printable cupcake wrapper, and I will leave a link to the download for that in the description box below. I've got a spoon, some toothpicks, and I've got my little arrow ends. So that's also on the printable, and I'll leave a link to that one in the description box below. So let's get started. The first thing that we want to do, if you are going to be using the optional Hunger Games little printable cupcake wrapper, you need to print that out. So print that out on I've used a 210 GSM, relatively not a thick cardboard, but certainly a little bit thicker and sturdier than paper. And you can see there, it's a really good representation of what the Hunger Games is all about. If you're not going to use that, you can just use a black cupcake wrapper or an orange. Just try to keep with those sort of black and orange colors. Now you want to take your wrapper, and it's going to depend on the size of your cupcake. So just wrap it around the cupcake. And what you want to be careful of here when using these wrappers, any of these wrappers, is you want to try and have your cupcake at the top of the little cardboard lining, because your buttercream frosting might seep into that cardboard if you sort of touch it too much around the cardboard wrapper. So you can see there, the bottom of my cupcake, I'm actually up nearly 1 centimetre, but that's the size that I want because I want it to lift my cupcake up. So taking a little bit of that sticky tape, I'm just going to pop that cupcake out. I'm going to position the back. So when you're positioning the back, you just want to make sure you've got your best side out. So I'm going to go like that, and that's about the size that I want, and then just sticky tape it. So just a really easy printed home cupcake wrapper there. And then pop your cupcake in. So you can see that that's sitting nice and high on the top, and it's actually got a little bit of a gap around in between the cupcake and the cardboard cupcake liner. So that's just going to stop us from getting any bleeding or any seeping from that buttercream frosting. So what we want to do now is we're going to prepare our Ziploc bag. To make our flame effect, we're going to open up that Ziploc bag and take your spoon in some yellow frosting kind of on one side of the bag. So I just use the bag to push it off, and you don't have to be too neat here because we want the two colours to blend a little bit. So we'll just say 2 teaspoons of that, and then we'll move to the orange, and on the other side, the downside, spoon in some of your orange frosting. You can probably kind of see where we're going here with our little flame effect. Now I like to, while it's sitting like that, just kind of push it in the bag a little bit just to start combining them, but you don't want to mix the two colours. You just want to start combining them a little. And do your Ziploc bag up. Squeeze any excess air out of the top of your Ziploc bag. Now, to make our little end, we're going to cut off quite a decent sized corner. So taking your scissors, you want to cut right across. So you've got a nice, sort of a big chunky corner taken out, because we want those flames to be quite nice and quite large, I suppose, or else you'll be piping for ages. Now out of that corner, you're going to cut another triangle. 1 and 2. So what you should end up with is something that looks like this. So you can see there you've got your one triangle across, and then you've got your little cut-in triangle. All right, so you've got your bag ready, and do make sure that you get any of your little pieces of plastic and just move them away from your workspace because you don't want those going into the cupcake. Now we can prepare a little arrowhead, and these are as simple as just sticky taping that little bit of card. And I've printed that out at the same time as I've printed my printable cupcake wrapper. Stick it onto that cocktail stick or that toothpick, and we're just going to sticky tape it on. So you'll see there I've got a little bit of excess around that little top section, so we'll just cut that off, and there you've got your little arrow. Now bear in mind these are not edible, so if you're going to sell these or if you're giving them away, you do need to inform your guests that they're not actually edible, and they need to remove them before they start eating their cupcake. If you did want them to be edible, you could use a rice paper to print out those images, and then you could use a noodle, an uncooked spaghetti noodle. It would be edible, but it's still not going to taste that great, so these will do the job nicely. So there you've got your arrows ready to go, and you've got your frosting. So with the frosting, you always want to give it a nice squeeze. See there, we've got all of the orange coming out of the back. So just squeeze it off into your container until you see both of those colours coming out. You can see there as I've squeezed that swirl, you've now got two colours coming out. And what you're going to have from making that little cut in there is a nice ridge. That's going to give us the real flame effect. So if you look at that frosting, you can see there it's kind of got four little ridges around it. So pick a nice side. I'm going to go with this side. That side it's going to look too orange. That side I'm getting a nice combination of the orange and the yellow. Take your cupcake and you just want to pipe almost like sort of blobs or dollops. It's going to automatically taper off in the top into kind of a bit of a flamey look or a pointed tip. And you can see there I'm really trying not to touch it too much to the outside of that cardboard cupcake wrapper. Once again, it's just because it's cardboard, it will absorb some of that butter from the buttercream frosting and it will discolour it. So we don't really want that if possible. So you just want to work around. And don't be afraid to turn the bag around a little bit so you're getting a few different effects. So I've done sort of one layer of it there. And then we're going to go and do another one. So just fill in some of those gaps. You can make this as high as you like, but I kind of like to do a bit of an outer layer and then a bit of an inner layer. So I've got a second sort of a circle and then we'll go into the middle. We'll do our middle ones just a little bit higher. If you love this tutorial, please make sure that you head on over to our channel, My Cupcake Addiction, and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more from us. We've got lots of fabulous tutorials, everything cupcake, cake pop, and cake decorating. So what you should have now is your Hunger Games cupcake flames all ready to go. You want to just simply take your little arrows and just position them in. Now you can decide how many arrows you would like. Our printable template has enough for 3 arrows per cupcake, and I like to do one in quite deep, the middle one just a little bit higher, and then the other one off to the side. And once again, that's completely up to you how you would like to position them, if you want to have 2 going in from the same angle. So there you have your completed and really easy Hunger Games cupcakes, perfect for your next Hunger Games themed event. And as always, thank you very much for watching. May the odds be ever in your favour.